Now, Talk Real Estate, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, located on the South Shore, and I have been working as a full-time realtor and sales and marketing consultant for home buyers and home sellers for the past 15 years. My unique approach to assisting my clients to the next chapter of their lives is driven by being a team player and by offering them continuous training, education, advising, and mentoring. Every week, I will be providing you with real estate topics ranging from home buyer and home seller advice, legal matters, insurance binders, flood insurance concerns, home inspection questions, environmental worries like radon, lead paint, and mold, mortgages and loan programs, staging tips and ideas, real estate contracts, market trends, home values, and more. It's a talk radio show, and you can follow along online. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. If you missed any of our shows, you can listen on my podcast at talkrealestateradio.com. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me regarding your home sale or your home purchase, you can connect with me anytime at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. And hello to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara. You are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable here at Boston Connect Real Estate, who is your sponsor, and with the McNamara Broker Team. And hello to the broker team.
Hello to our broker.
I know. I think about not being here for the last show of the year, so I haven't been in studio in a while, huh?
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know where 2020 went.
Yeah.
I think it was all a days. This is the longest year of my entire existence.
It's the whole entire day.
I don't remember anything that happened this year.
Well, you know what? It's just been that type of year. And you know what? I don't know. It's just been, I don't know. There's just been a lot of things that were happening this year for sure. Again, you are listening to Talk Real Estate. We are on until 7 o'clock tonight. We have Ben in studio at WATD, and you can, reach out to him if you just want to say hello to us. Tonight's going to be very casual for us. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite shows that we've had throughout the year, and we're also going to discuss maybe some final numbers. But if you would like to say hello to us, maybe tell us what you thought your favorite show was, we would love to hear from you. That's a good one, right?
That is a good one. I like that.
781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. Again, that is the phone number to the WATD studio. And Ben is standing there live awaiting your phone call so you can talk to us.
Yeah, chat with us, please.
Yeah, chat with us. You can also find us on Facebook and all those great places. So find us on our social media, and you can actually get us messages that way as well if you want to do it that way. But we'd love to chat with you if you do listen. So, Benjamin, I hope you had a wonderful holiday.
I did. And how was everyone's?
It was good. Like you said before we got on air, it was just a little different. You know what it was for me is that I have sort of 3 different cohorts that I've really been with, throughout all of this COVID stuff. So I have my cohort here, which is Mary and Melissa. So I'm with them a lot. And then I have my cohort, which is like my daughters, and then my husband, obviously. And then my cohort, that's like my mother and father. You know what I mean? So So I ultimately ended up having to do like 3 different things. Right. I've been cooking and cleaning.
You had to stagger them too in a certain way because you felt like you can't have everything on top of each other this year, which is very strange to not. Because this is the season of getting together and sharing those family emotions,
Yeah. Yeah, but I think one of the things that I want to take away from this year is that, I think it made us realize how badly this situation sucked, that, the holidays sucked, period. Amen. I don't even know if Ed Perry's going to be mad at me for saying that, but the holiday season sort of sucked just because because of, you could feel who you were missing.
Yeah.
Right?
There was no normal.
Yeah. But
normal? What's that? What's normal?
yeah.
I was going to say, we talked all year about finding our new normal through COVID and everything. And then the holidays hit, and it was kind of the realization that even though we got used to the masks and kind of doing things in a different way, the holidays were completely and totally disrupted for everybody, and the least normal that I've ever experienced.
Yeah. But I think what it did in retrospect is it made me really appreciate and value and be grateful for moments that are actually normal.
That's true.
Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
So if I have to be grateful for anything this year because of COVID sort of disrupting everything, I think that's what I'm grateful for. It made me realize how important the real things matter in life, and that is
things.
family, friends, and getting together and just breaking bread, right? Mm-hmm. Just think about that. Like, honestly, Jesus couldn't even have like all the apostles over, right?
No, because there were 12.
There was 12 of them.
2 had to go.
That's pretty funny. Who would he let go? I think it would be
Well, technically,
Peter.
including him.
It would be Peter. Wouldn't it be Peter that he would get rid of?
Is that the one who denied him 3 times?
Yeah, I think so. Right? Was it? I don't know. I'm sure that somebody will call us and
No,
let
maybe
us
that
know.
was Judas. I don't know. Catholic school here.
Both of us Catholic school for many, many years, and that we don't know the answer. I don't know. So, Mel, hi.
Hi.
You want to let everybody know where we are so they can find us?
Yeah. We are, where are we? We're at Boston Connect Real Estate in our studio. But if you want to get in touch with us, you can give us a call at the studio, 781-837-4900. You can always give us a call here at the office too, whenever we're not on air. You can give us a call, 781-826-8000. You can go to bostonconnect.com, get all of our personal contact information there as well. But if you want to listen to any of our past shows, you can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com, and why don't you go to that website now, listen to a little bit of snippets, and then call us in and say, oh, this one was my favorite.
Oh, this is
This one was my favorite. But yeah, so we're just sort of doing like a year in review. We spend a lot of time during COVID talking about COVID. So we have a lot of shows to talk about that. We had a lot of great guests this year. And I think I'm grateful for being able to put out such great content like this year and be sort of like a source, a source and a resource of knowledge for the community. For it wasn't just like the local people that we had on. We had people join us through Zoom and sort of tried to go across the board, with small businesses or, where we could, people can get assistance from and stuff like that. So, and I feel like we learned something new on almost every show when we had a guest on. So I know we're going to go around and talk about when our favorite ones are, but
yes.
I'm racking my brain over here. I'm like,
what? I knew when we had this topic, I already knew. I said, I already know what Melissa's going to say. Zero surprise. So we have Dustin, who is actually in his apartment in Boston, looking fabulous with your tree there. Plant.
Killer plant back there. That green thumb over there.
So you know how I feel about plants.
You kill them?
Just give me a fake one. It's easier to do. So what do you think Dustin gave Mark for Christmas? A plant. No, a real plant.
To take care of.
Well, because Mark likes plants too.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Never
knew that.
As we sit surrounded by 3 or 4 fake plants.
I know.
Lots of greenery.
And then Benjamin, were you able to help me out with that thing earlier too that we were going to discuss?
Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know if Benjamin can hear us or not.
I don't know if Benjamin can hear us. But but wait, we have a little bit of an announcement. Did we say what today is?
No, we didn't say what today was. Oh. No. All right. So who wants to say it?
On 3, girls.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Yay!
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday, dear Dustin. Happy birthday to you. Yay!
Happy birthday. I was listening, guys. I apologize for the late arrival. I was actually literally in the other room looking for a happy birthday jingle.
Thank you.
Literally. And then I heard you guys start. I was like, oh, well, I'll just go have fun. Happy birthday, buddy. Like I said earlier, pregame, too. Best salad in the game, folks. If you don't know what that is, it's the hair up top. Dustin's got the flow down.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I don't know that we've ever had an on-air birthday before.
I don't think we have. No.
My birthday.
Oh, we did a cake
yeah,
for your birthday.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I remember. Didn't we like bring the cake in to the
Yes.
studio?
I have a celebratory cat and a celebratory dog. Which one would you like?
The dog.
The dog.
The dog.
Is it a Frenchie? Okay.
Happy birthday. I think it's saying
That is
happy
the
birthday, Dustin.
WETD Happy Birthday Dog. Congratulations, Dustin.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And many people probably don't know this, but Dustin is a twin.
Yes.
So is Tyler at your house yet?
No.
Oh, he isn't. I was going to have you bring him on air. So if he comes over soon, get him on air with us, okay?
I will.
I did
actually
not
will.
know you were a twin, Dustin. I am just finding this out right now. Is his hair also on point?
Maybe.
It's on
Maybe.
point, but in a different way.
It's probably
Fair.
longer than mine.
Oh, man. Oh, now we just got to get you guys on ice skates and we'll be all set.
Awesome. Oh, geez. Sorry about that. All right. So, Dustin, you want to get us sort of going
On track.
on track? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what we can do. Really, when you were talking about, all the memorable shows you've had, I was thinking about, I think it was something my mom used to say, that you really don't the person you are is who you surround yourself with. And so I now like to hold myself at a very high regard based off all of the guests we surround ourselves with this year. I was going to say all the stuff we had to talk about COVID. I think Ken McCormick, Lisa Coldy, and Josh Cutler quickly became my 3 favorite people in the South Shore once I started this radio show.
They're very educational. They had a lot to say, a lot of good information to give, especially Lisa. I think even listening, well, not that Ken doesn't, but Ken is very to the point.
Don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up, right. Lisa's so full of knowledge that I don't think, I didn't even know how much information is in that little head of hers. But she was able to help us out through a lot. I even called her when a friend of a client of a client of a client ended up testing positive for COVID, or I think it was some of Sam's clients at some point. I called her. I was like, Lisa, what do I do? Am I okay? And she's like, yeah, you're fine. You should relax. I was like, this is from hanging out with Sharon too much.
It's not even just COVID. I saw sparks flying from a telephone pole, and I called Mary to ask who should I call, and then we called Ken, and we said, we think that there's a telephone pole on fire. What do we do? And he goes, oh yeah, we got a couple calls about that. Thank you for calling. I'm like literally was like, what do you who do you call? Do you call 911? Do you call the police? Do you call the fire department? Do you call the
National Grid?
electric company? Who do you call?
He's so cool and collected, isn't he? I think that's
He
what
just goes, tell her to keep calling him in. It's fine.
yeah.
Keep calling.
Remember we were on air with Ken and Sharon was just listing off all the time she didn't call the fire department or an ambulance. And Ken was like, what are you doing?
I know. It is very, very true. Yes. So
I think of him every time I get on a ladder because we did a show with him. And I don't even think it was this year. It might have been a year prior. But he was talking about it was around the holidays, all the injuries that happened from people hanging up the Christmas tree lights. And then that night I went home and Sam was on a 6-foot ladder in the living room trying to hang up God knows what. And I sent him a picture and he goes, this is why I still have a job.
Yeah.
What shows stick out to you guys in regards to guests we had on that are more industry focused, whether it's other agents in our office, outside of our office, or contractors, anyone we're working with?
For me, I think one of the shows that I really enjoyed, actually they came on twice with us this year, was the Flynn team. And I just love Trisha's no nonsense approach to just stating the facts and this is how it is. You know what I mean?
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just love that. I think we did 2 shows with them, and one of them was just about I think one was seller tips.
For sale by owner.
One was seller tips, and that was before COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were in studio.
Yep. And then the second one was, what was it?
For sale by owner.
For sale by owners. Yeah. So, and some of the, different trials and tribulations that they went through with those situations. So with agents in the office, those couple were very memorable to me. So I liked that.
I enjoyed the for sale by owner one as well.
Yeah. Who else did we have on? We had Teresa Roth on this year.
Yeah, she was good.
You know, we had Kristen Howlett. Yeah, Kristen Howlett and I did a show together in studio.
I was in Tennessee. That was in March. It was before COVID, and I was in the tornado.
Yes. I don't know where you were.
How do you forget?
It was just me and Kristen in studio, and then Dustin.
I was in a tornado this year.
There you go. You did forget because COVID
That
happened.
was wild. I feel like that was a long time ago.
That was in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first week in March.
Interesting.
Yeah, could have been yesterday to me.
When I started, I covered a home inspection for another agent, potentially even before I ever stepped foot in the office for a property up in Boston. And it was with Steve Cook. And it was an absolute blast. So having him on this past month was equally as enjoyable for me and equally as informative. It was so, you're going through the entire house, again, brand new to what I'm doing and being like, okay, yes. And he's obviously having the time of his life making jokes. I'm like, I don't know if he's kidding or not.
He is very much like that.
That's what we love about
That
Steve.
is so true.
He has a lot of one-liners, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So it would be no surprise that one of my favorite episodes, and I'm not going to remember what we ended up titling it, but it was with Steve Cook, and we were talking about multiple offer situations and just kind of the trends that we were seeing in Boston. And one of the points that he brought up that it was like
mind blowing.
Mind blowing. Light dawned on Marblehead for me is that buyers, he sees, because it's interesting that he sees it this way. Buyers were waiving their home inspections up in the city, or
everywhere,
and probably everywhere, and still are. And then putting a smaller deposit down and just walking away from their deposit because it's almost like they were going into these houses thinking, if I lose $10,000, I lose $10,000. But if not, I got the house that I wanted because they're going so excessively over asking, that it almost outweighed it for them. And I thought that was just so interesting, the manipulation that was happening there. And it kind of killed me in a sense.
Yeah.
So I loved that episode. I was like, wow, I would never think that people would do that.
So one of the things, Dustin, we and Melissa, Mary and I were talking just yesterday, and we were just talking about talking about one of our transactions, and she was like, it was just something that recently that she's been going through, and it was really difficult. And I had something that was very similar with, my client's literally truck is going down the street, and they forgot to tell the loan officer that they changed the closing date, so there was no closing, and there was my client for the weekend, and our team ended up paying for their hotel to stay in a hotel for that weekend. And not that it was our fault.
I was going to say, by no fault of our own did the lender not know when the closing date was, but
and my client actually said, or our client actually said, I don't expect you to pay for this. Like, this isn't your fault. And I said, it isn't our fault, but it isn't your fault. And you're not going to feel this is not how your journey is going to end and your new one start. Yeah, so we ended up paying for that and making sure that they were, in a nice, comfortable place. But Mary and I thought of a good idea. Actually, it was me, Mary, but you agreed.
It was definitely you.
For what we want to do is we're going to take all of our closings that we had this year. How many did we have this year?
I think we're at 42.
44 sides.
44 sides this year. And go through each one and say, what was the lesson that we learned from each one of these? Because every transaction is completely different.
1,000%.
So we're going to do that as a radio show, which I think will be fun. And we're also going to do it as a course in the office, as a workshop.
I love it as a course. We'll shrink it down for the radio show, but as a course to really in depth talk about it, I think will be super interesting to learn from other people too.
Yeah. I want to give the number one more time. If you're listening to us live on WATD, you can reach out to us. Just say, hey, this is our end of year show. I always feel like at the the deadliest catch, at the end of the season when
we always call it like a little wrap up.
Yeah, a little wrap up. But if you want to tell us what your favorite show was, or if you have any questions for us regarding real estate, of course, we consider ourselves to be the experts on the South Shore. So feel free to give us a call at the studio, 781-837-4900.
Just one other show that I was thinking of that we did this year was with Amy Masfer about disclosures. And Amy is a real estate attorney with, where is she right now?
Sherman Law,
yeah. With Sherman Law. And first of all, we love Amy, and we just love her as a person. And to have her on, I just felt like it was very informational, but it was just like, do you disclose that? Do you not disclose that? We just were rapid firing, do we disclose this but we just sort of tried to get down to the bottom of what
and the things that we're talking about for people who didn't listen to that show. And again, the shows we're talking about, you can always go on to our podcast, which is Talk Real Estate Roundtable. So if you have the podcast app, you can find us there, but we also have a website, talkrealestateroundtable.com. Things that we wouldn't do you disclose, do you not disclose? Are there ghosts in the house? Obviously, if there's water in the basement and we know about it, then we will disclose that. Yeah. There's no question about those types of things.
Well, I think something that was interesting from the show that we did with Amy was, from an attorney perspective, everything is black and white, no matter which way you argue it. So it's kind of there's no two sides. I guess there's two sides to every story. So it just depends on how you look at it. Is it something that you disclose, or is it something?
Well, her answer a lot of the time was, well, if I represented the buyer, if I represented the seller, this is,
So shameless plug, why it's important to have seller representation and or buyer representation when you're doing anything in real estate. Did you have somebody advocating for you, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I was going to say, we don't make anyone come on the show with us by any means. So I love seeing, it's a really good indicator of who actually wants to be on the show when it's someone like Amy and they're in a laundry closet and the door's shut and there's kids or pets in the background. And they're like, don't worry about that. Yeah. They're like, this is the only place I can be right now.
One of the shows for me, I'm pretty open anyways. I feel like I'm in sort of an open book, but I guess one of the shows for me that was memorable this year was really being transparent about my experience with that positive test results that I got with COVID. And I still don't think that it was real, accurate. But who really knows? I'll have to get the antibody test, but still having to quarantine and everything else. But I felt like it really gave me an opportunity to open up and just be who I am and show everybody how I really felt. And Mary, you said that we got a call from a nurse.
Yeah. So we got a call at the office a little while ago from a nurse who was basically just calling to say, it was a couple weeks after the show had aired, but just saying, how appreciative she is of somebody being out there and being so vulnerable to talk about it, not being afraid to share that. And she kept on saying to me, because this is something that you had said during the show, that you felt as if you must have touched your eye. She was like, nobody talks about the fact that you can get it by touching something and putting it in your eye, but you really, really can. So she was just very thankful for you sharing that story and appreciative of that.
And I think one of my points of that show too was, I don't want to get into a political views with anybody regarding should we wear masks, should we be forced to wear masks. Is it your right to not wear a mask? And my point on that show was, I'm not trying to take your rights away. I'm just asking you to do the right thing right now. So that was my show.
We would. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Mary, it's all you.
I was just going to say, we would have expected nothing less. You really are an open book. So I most certainly anticipated that show, as soon as we found out that you would be willing to share and your personal experience.
I was just going to ask if.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, I feel like this year has allowed a lot of people to sort of be vocal and come out and sort of stand in front of something and stand for something.
Activism for sure.
And I think that, just based off of all the feedback that we got, even during the show, after the show, the cards, the things that got dropped off, everything, like,
it was emotional.
It's emotional, and you realize that, people, although they might not say it every day or very often, but people do care, and they're sympathetic, and
people were great. Yeah. I was getting things at my house. People were dropping things off, like socks with little, French bulldogs on them and candies and just everything. People were just so kind. But speaking about emotional, as we were talking about this, which is why I love calling it the round table, because the thought comes up. Emotional, I would say that one of the most emotional shows for me, other than that one, was, I remember we were out there. Our studio was out there in the bigger room, and Christine James asked for permission to break into our show. And all the riots were happening in Brockton.
Oh, yeah. I could cry right now. I don't know why.
Yeah, and Melissa started crying on the air because where those riots were so close to where your mom lives.
Yeah.
And, that was one part of it. But even just the situation and what we were going through, just everything. Like, and I felt like we were a big part of letting Christine James come into our airtime and just show the importance of, the Black Lives Matter movement and, just people caring for other people. And then remember Melissa crying, like I was like, I can't look at her right now because I'm going to lose it.
Yeah. And I did lose it
Yeah.
on the show. I mean, and I think I might have even said it then, or I've said it afterwards. It's like, that, an illness or something tragic is bad, but you don't know the weight of it until you are experiencing it. And I think in that moment, like, I don't think I've ever felt fearful of not mine, because I wasn't there. I was, for the first time ever, I felt very fearful of my mother and my brother's safety, and I just hit me. So, to have it so close to their home, it's intense, but,
and too, what everybody was going through. I think that was one of the shows that we had one of our past clients on, Lisa Braxton, was, introducing her book that she had written. And, I felt bad that we had to interrupt her show. But it was for something that was just so important. And as you had said earlier, Melissa, I think this year, our show, we have really given up so much of our time, because real estate isn't what's really important. What's really important are the people that we help through real estate, and whether that's giving up our shows to talk about contingencies and home inspections and when's the right time to sell, in order to get strong messages across to make the world a little bit of a better place. I'm okay with that.
Very well said. Very well said.
Absolutely. And if I could just piggyback off that, I put my hand up like you guys can see me real quick.
Well, if you let us see you, we're on Zoom.
If we could ever get a camera attached to the computer that's currently running Zoom here at Broadcast House, I promise you we get that going. But I just want to say, thank you for that on behalf of Christine James and the news team here at WATD. You guys doing that became part of an Edward R. Murrow winning broadcast team in doing that, and Boston Talk Real Estate Roundtable right up there in the books with it now because of that, friends of WATD for life.
Wow, that just gave me goosebumps. And I adore Christine James and the whole WATD news team. They're just fabulous. I mean, I've been with WATD, having my own show with them for 15 years, it seems now, and used to do the show with my brother-in-law on McNamara Money as the real estate expert. And I am super happy. And I think that award definitely is very well fitted for that WATD crew. So congratulations to everybody at WATD, and especially Christine James, Lenny Rowe, and the rest of the crew over there that do that. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Congrats, guys.
Yay. That made my night, actually.
Yay.
We didn't know.
We didn't know, yeah. Yeah, it's a great way to end the year. So, again, if you want to talk to us, hey, we're just chilling. 781-837-4900. If you want to just say hello to us, we'd love to hear from you. Just let us know that somebody is listening.
Oh, we're always out here listening. Don't underestimate the power of it. It's been a strange day on air, to be honest with you. Even earlier today on WMEX, our sister station here from the flagship, we normally get 20 calls a day.
Yeah.
A day. And today, nothing.
Yeah.
No calls today. Yet we always know folks are out there listening. They always make sure they let themselves known, and I'm sure they're going to come through on the Facebook and websites and all kinds of other cool places. But we know you're out there, listeners. Don't you worry. But you can call in. Always a good time. 781-837-4900. Just want to give an extra plug in there for the phone.
Awesome. That sounds great.
So real quick, because this is something funny, and I don't know if anybody else remembers this. Do we remember when we had the listing over in Hanson? We had like 110 showings on it in like 3 days, and you answered a call on air.
Yes.
And you're like, wait, you know what? I'm just going to let everybody out there, the WATD listeners, know just how busy everything is. I'm going to answer the phone call. And he answered it, and I forget who it was, but it was something like completely different.
About Copperwood. Yeah.
About Copperwood. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm going to have my team member call you back later. And
we're live on the air.
We're live on the radio.
Yeah, go to 95.9 FM and you can hear yourself.
Yeah. We had 126 showings, by the way, and 24 offers. So that's how that one went.
Imagine being that agent, being like, I'm on the radio. Hello.
Well, we did have some agents who called in. I know Steve Webster, who's the broker owner of Success Real Estate, has called in, and his brother Todd Webster have both called into the radio show, and we welcome our colleagues and to do so.
I loved Steve's little tidbit when he called in, because he was like, agents just need to be better. I was like, yes, Steve.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Not us.
Yeah, I agree. And just to piggyback off of what you said, Sharon, it's like, I feel like I like the moments where we're in the moment. Like we're letting life happen in the moment. And, you know, clearly that situation was tough for me, but there's also been, you know, positive, you know, things that, you know, when we have Tamika call in or, you know, like just to bring a smile back. Was it last 2 weeks ago when we had her name's forget from the Weymouth Food Pantry.
Oh yeah,
you know, calling in, and we're like all on the verge of tears. You know, it brought us back to reality that, you know, yeah, there are people struggling with the simplicities and the basics that we should all have. There are people that struggle.
Did we
with
send them the
things.
check?
We did.
All right, great. Because we did a donation sort of on the spot there for $500 from Boston Connect Real Estate to the food pantry in Weymouth, just to show our appreciation for all of those volunteers. And I think that, like Dustin was saying, just the opportunity that we get to meet the people that we get to meet. And I know, Melissa, you had a couple favorite people that you liked.
I did have a couple favorite.
You were starstruck.
I felt like I was like meeting like the president of the United States. Like I like he just like walked in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be on my best behavior. Like, oh my goodness.
Well, let our listeners know who that was.
So one of my favorite shows, and I think he was on twice actually. Was District Attorney Tim Cruz. And then we had Plymouth County Sheriff Joe McDonald on. And when they were together, that was probably one of my favorite favorite episodes.
They were hysterical together.
Yeah, we got a lot of people, you know, talking on Facebook and calling in afterwards and stuff like that. So we got a lot of great feedback from that one. But I don't know, they were just so informative and really, again, brought us back down to reality of like, you know, the kids aren't in school right now. How are they eating? Like, you know, the kids who rely on the free lunches and the free breakfast, like, you know, they were talking about, you know, domestic abuse and, you know, are there spikes and stuff like that because people
we
are home.
really have had a lot a lot. I think that we should get an award from WATD.
I think so.
Because honestly, we have not really even talked about real estate this year.
Yeah.
But like
We get a little bit in there every once in a while.
yeah, but the importance of, I remember that because that's something that's stuck with me is, you know, with everybody being home and everybody being quarantined and the amount of people like with domestic abuse and how important that was. And for them to know that there are resources out there for them. And as you were saying, your two favorite guests were very open and had numbers and websites and everything to help everybody.
And they were also talking about that, like the program there that it like calls the elderly. Or even people who are, you know, who have
check-ins,
been in check-ins and who need that check-in, you know, just to make sure that everything is okay. And you have like a code word or whatever, or code phrase, and, you know, you go on to the next call. And so we, you know, we talked about that program, you know, in Plymouth County. So I don't know. I loved having them on, and then they stayed for a while afterwards, and we were just, you know, talking and listening to stories and stuff. And then they were very appreciative to come on the show. You know, so I would say that was one of my favorites. You know, but again, we've had so many great.
It's weird as we're sitting here and how they're just flooding back into my head, and how much, you know, how much everybody is so willing to come on to our show and share, you know, things with everybody. So,
and also not to just continue to talk about them, but they were talking about, you know, COVID and how it was affecting the prisons, and, you know, and for someone who has never personally been to prison, you know, I don't know what it's like to be in prison, regardless of, you know, whatever crime you committed to get in there. You know, it at the end of the day, they're a human being as well. And, you know, they, you know, so we were talking about what happens if they get released, or if they, you know, are they in quarantine and stuff like that. So,
and that was, I think it was Tim Cruz, right?
Yeah.
That was really passionate about, you know, because there was programs out there that were, you know, advocates that were out there trying to release some of the prisoners. But then like his whole quest was that's one step is releasing some of them, but where are they going? So now we're just sending people, human beings, out to the street to, you know, without any type of re-entry, re-entry skills,
nowhere to live,
and, you know, no masks to wear. Yeah. So that was sad.
That was sad. That I would say that was probably
the more people that know about programs in order to help, the better. That's the goal.
Yep.
Plus, I was a detective in my other life, so.
Well, and they promised.
They promised.
Yeah, they promised us a tour once COVID was over. So if COVID could get over, so we could do that.
Yeah, I would love it.
All right, Dusty. What about you, Dust?
Yeah.
Any other shows that sort of stick out to you?
I think we actually covered all of them.
Really? One show that we did, I think, well, it was part of our show, but then maybe we continued on Facebook when we did Drinks and Data.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember we did Drinks and Data?
Truthfully, when I first started brainstorming this morning about memorable shows, that was the first one that came to mind.
Really?
And I was like, maybe I'll just keep that one in my pocket for now.
I think that was May, wasn't it?
Melissa doesn't like it too much, but I liked the whole concept of Drinks and Data. And data, I know we have a lot of numbers here, so I don't know if...
Let's get right into it.
Yeah, if we want to get into it, but we can continue on with it next week too. But maybe let's just ask Ben. I mean, Ben, did you have a favorite show that you want to share with us? Nope, Ben must have stepped away from the studio for a minute.
I think he's going to say he liked them all.
Sorry, I stepped out. One of my sorry, I am here.
Okay. What was one of your favorite shows?
One of my favorite shows was definitely all those times where I stepped away from the mic and literally was like, man, I hope they don't need me in the next 30 seconds for this one quick thing. And I get 20 seconds into it, and they're like, hey, Ben. And I'm like, and sprinting. So that was probably my favorite episode, which I think just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. Yeah. So do we want to talk about numbers then? Is that what we want to do? Anybody else have any other shows?
We do.
How about let's ask your mom. Is your mom listening?
Yeah. Oh,
let's ask your mom what her favorite show was.
Well, first she said, "Oh, I'm crying. I love you guys so much."
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask right now. What was your favorite? Or Mom, what was your favorite show?
What was your favorite show?
Rather than texting her. Yeah, texting. Listening. I remember she was actually very upset that we didn't have a show last week.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't inform her. Yeah, she was like getting ready for the show. I was like, "We're not on tonight."
Yeah,
what? I have my snacks ready. It's like
and my dad listens every week. Hello, Dad. Love you very much. And he wasn't actually feeling too good today, which made me sort of not feel good either. But I checked in with him before I got here, and he's doing okay. But the show we had, I think, like 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about different things to prepare your house and everything. He was calling me while we were on air, and I was like, I can't really talk on the phone, and he didn't know the number to the studio. And he had such a good input. Was one thing you should do to get your house ready now for like before the winter is to do your septic system and get your Title V inspection.
That's a good one.
It was a good one. I was like, that was a good one. So, Mom, answer yet?
Yeah, she's still typing, but she did say, touched by Sharon's story in revealing that she had COVID. Preparing for sale, should declutter stage. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, declutter, yes.
But yeah, she said that the COVID show was her favorite.
All right. So, Dustin, do you want to get into some of these numbers that you prepared for us?
Yeah. We put together a lot of statistics from the last couple of years. Everyone in the studio is looking at these numbers that are completely blank for 2020. So because of my birthday, I now got to put them on the spot and find out who knows what they're talking about.
A few minutes left then.
Yeah, I know. Everyone was trying to push it off till next weekend so they could study this, not knowing we were. But here we go. Everything we're talking about is Plymouth County, and everything we're talking about is single-family homes. And we're going to start off year to date. We're looking at total homes listed this year. Last year, we were just above 8,133. Mary, what is your guess for 2020?
Can you actually, Dustin, give our listeners 2016, 17, 18, and 19, because I think that's interesting, how many units were listed for each year.
I will.
And then Mary can give her guess.
We were at 8,300, 8,100, 82, 81. That's 2016, 17, 18, 19. Again, nothing varies more than 150 or so.
Very, very in line. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Take all the time you need.
I'm going to say 79.
Sharon, how about yourself?
7,900.
7,900.
I'm going to say 8,400.
Mel?
I'm going to go with 7,901.
No, I like that. I
feel like we're on The Price is Right.
Yeah, no, really. 2020, 7,114.
Wow.
That's down.
I win, right?
No,
Mel does. 7,100. She said 7,101.
She said 7,901.
She said 79. I said 7,901.
Oh.
I'm close.
And how much was it?
Sharon.
We're all over.
So 7,100.
Wow. Down 12% from last year, which, I mean, we have to contribute to COVID, right?
Yeah, units listed, because this is units listed, not units sold.
Okay, we're on to units sold.
Okay.
Again, last year, 2019, we're looking at 6,066. Again, from 16 to 19, 6,100, 6,100, 6,000, 6,066. Sharon, you're up first this time.
All right, so units sold. This is Plymouth County single family. I am going to say 6,450.
Wow.
Mel?
I'm going lower. I'm doing 5,800.
Mary?
I'm going 6,800.
6,133.
I won.
So, again, it's, it doesn't deviate at all from units sold from the last 5 years.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have stuck right on par.
I thought it would be lower just because of inventory.
That's the big thing there is, you lose 1,000 listings and you're still at the same amount sold.
How many listings were there again?
8,130. Oh, sorry, 7,114.
7,114. Huh.
Yes.
And then, so 61 sold?
Yep.
Yeah, 6,133 sold. Yep.
Wow. I bet the average days on market is lower.
All right. So Mel starts that first.
Yeah,
So
average days on market. We've said before, it doesn't tell the whole story. Agents have new construction. It's on for 600 days. It's not a good metric to gauge, say, success or efficiency as an agent. But I think for the sake of the conversation we're having, it's worth discussing. Again, 2016, we go from 90, 69, 62, 64. Mel, what do you think?
Doing 50.
Mary?
55.
57.
55.
Oh, wow.
Spot on. Mary, you got a gift card from Sharon. and Mel, you have to pick it up probably.
Yeah, I'll pick it up on my way in tomorrow. How about that?
So again, we can do current inventory. That's a whole section we can save for another week, but we still have a couple more. We used to talk about this a lot. Average sale price. It's been going up for years. 2016, 403,000 to 430 to 454. Last year in 2019 to 472. All things considered, Mary, where do you think we were at for 2020?
505. 505.
I'm going to say 489.
Oh, no, we're getting...
And we're getting to the end. You have to
Last
hurry.
one, quick, Mel.
507.
What is it?
539.
Wow.
So everyone who is ready, thinking about buying, but just another year, COVID, regardless of what's happening, every year you wait, it's another $30,000 on a 30-year mortgage. Oh yeah, that's
just a tidbit for what's going to be next year, right? So we're going to start the year off with that. I can hear our music in the background. So I think that's time for us to sort of say goodbye for now. And we will see you next year. And we're going to start with these numbers. That was a lot of fun, Dustin.
That was. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody. And happy birthday, Dustin.
Thank you.